everybody, it's Becky. Welcome back to my channel. I have kind of a unique video for you guys today. It's been on my mind for a while and I thought, I don't know if anybody would really want to watch this, but I thought it would be nice to share my dating advice for young girls or for their moms, just because sometimes we don't know what to tell our girls about dating. I have two girls. I have a 12-year-old and a 6-year-old, soon to be a 7-year-old and a 13-year-old, so we're very much into the like boys are on the horizon stage with my oldest daughter, and there's things that I tell both of them that I really think are important about finding the right boy and dating and things like that, particularly about dating in the world of cell phones and social media. There's a couple things that I think are really important that I want to make sure that my daughters understand, and that maybe if you're a young girl that you could use a little bit of advice about, or if you're a mom of a young girl who is dating or will soon be dating, maybe some things to think about and to bring up with them in conversation about dating in a world full of cell phones and social media and technology. It's a new world. So my first tip, and the most important one, is to make sure that when you're on a date, that your date is not on his phone, either texting or talking on the phone while he's driving. From a safety standpoint, that is a big no-no. And then just from a personal standpoint, you're on a date to get to know somebody. And unless it's an emergency or like they're calling their parents to say, hey, we might be 5 minutes late or whatever, unless it's one of those type situations, you should not be on a date with a guy who cannot stay off of his phone, either talking on it or texting on it. If he can't devote that attention to you now while you're on a date, what's it going to be like if you ever got married and he's going to probably work a little bit less to impress you than he does when you're dating? I think it sends you a signal early on in the relationship. If he can't stay off his phone when you're on a date and when he's in the car, then he probably will only get worse about being on his phone when you're engaged or married. And the same goes for you too as the girl. If you're on your phone and you're not giving that attention to your date, that's going to make him feel bad as well. So my main tip is just to stay off the phone while you're driving and to use the phone as little as possible when you're on a date, like talking or eating or whatever. Tip number 2 is to don't let your only way of communication be through texting. So it's so convenient to text, and that's okay for like little things like I'll be here in 5 minutes or whatever. But don't let that be the only way that you communicate. It is so important to have a phone call, and then more importantly, a face-to-face conversation. If your only way of communicating with each other on a regular basis is through texting, then that's not good for your relationship. You really should be able to sit down and have a face-to-face, eye contact conversation with the person that you're on a date with. Now, I understand, obviously, you can't talk face-to-face all the time. You can't be on the phone all the time. Texting is great for little things, here and there, like I miss you, or I can't wait to see you tonight, or I'm running a little bit late, I'll pick you up at such and so time. Those kinds of things is okay. But as far as having a conversation and getting to know each other, don't let texting and even being on the phone be the only way that you communicate and get to know each other. Make sure you're making that time to sit down and have a conversation with the other person. Kind of along with that, I think don't let him text you to tell you he's there to pick you up for the date. I personally, this is just me maybe being an old fogey, but I personally think that they should come in and get you, not text you and say, hey, I'm out front, or call you and say, hey, come out to the car, I'm waiting. They need to get out of the car as a sign of respect and come to the door, knock on the door, and come and get you. That's just me. That's my personal opinion, but I think it's important that they do that. It's just a sign of respect that I think is important. Tip number 3 is if you're old enough to be on social media like Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat or Facebook, whatever social media sites that you like, if you're old enough to have an account on those social media sites, make sure you check with each other about what you're comfortable with sharing of each other. Maybe your date or your boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't want you to post pictures of the date on your Facebook page, or maybe they don't want you to talk about what you all did on your date, or maybe they just don't want you to share certain things about them on your social media accounts. So just be respectful and make sure that you're not posting anything that the other person would not want you to post on your social media account. So that's a good way to it's a good idea to sit down and have a conversation and say, hey, do you care if I post this picture of us at the zoo, or do you care that I post this video of us roller skating? Whatever it is, make sure that your date or your boyfriend or your girlfriend is comfortable with whatever you're going to post before you post it. Nobody should ever post anything anywhere that you do not approve of. So that is a big red flag. If somebody does post something about you on their social media or wherever, if it's something that you don't want them to post and they post it anyway, then that should be a red flag to you that they don't respect your feelings, and you need to make a decision then about whether or not you want to continue the relationship. And I have 2 little bonus pieces of advice, and they're not about cell phones or technology, but basically when you're dating, I think two main things to pay attention to is if your date or your boyfriend or your girlfriend are they respectful of other people? Are they respectful of people they know, and are they respectful of people they don't know? You know, do they yell at people and get road rage? Are they disrespectful to their teachers or, you know, the school security guard? If they are respectful to the people around them, whether they know them or not, I think that's a good idea of whether or not that person has just an overall sense of respect for other people and their feelings, and that's a really important quality to have. And tip number two, for me personally, is a positive attitude. I think overall having a positive attitude is just so much more pleasant to be around. You don't want to be around somebody who is constantly negative and complaining and poor me and boo-hoo. It's really exhausting and draining when you're in a relationship like that. So I think just overall, picking somebody that has a positive attitude is another really important quality to have that may be overlooked. So those are kind of my bonus two pieces of advice. Whether you're a young girl or boy that's dating, or you're the parent of a young girl or boy that's going to be dating or is dating, I hope these tips were helpful. Keep these tips in mind, and you know, you can draw your own conclusions about whether or not you agree with me, and that's okay. But just keep them in mind. Let me know in the comments below if you have any advice that you give your teens as far as dating goes, and especially pertaining to cell phones and social media. I'd be really interested to see what tips you have, because like I said, I have an almost 13-year-old daughter that will probably be dating here in the next couple years, so I can use all the advice I can get. If you like this video and you found it helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and maybe I'll do more videos like this in the future, because it is kind of a new topic for my channel and I really hope that you enjoyed it. So if you do, make sure you give it a thumbs up so that I know you enjoyed it and you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.